Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Liz, your host here at Friends Untold. And today we have some interesting things to discuss. Yes, don't mind my doodads behind me. I'm sitting here on this gloomy day, drinking a nice cup of coffee, and we're going to talk about some not so nice things. So the first thing on my list today, we're going to talk about Brandon Hargrove. Brandon Hargrove was ex-teacher of the year that has been charged with crimes that could potentially go back to 2007. Brandon Hargrove has been charged with 12 different charges for sexual abuse of a child. She has been charged with 6 counts of sexual assault with a minor, 4 counts of indecency with a child by contact, 2 counts of indecency with a child by exposing, and was ultimately arrested back in December of 2023. So this was following a claim from a woman who stated that she was in a relationship with her teacher that started when she was 15 and that lasted approximately 2 years until she was 17. She also alleged that it happened on and off campus of the school in which she attended that Hargrove was a teacher for in the Brazosport School District. So this is an ongoing case that is they're still investigating it at this time. So as more comes out, I will release more information. So next on our list is we're going to talk about the final set of the Jeffrey Epstein papers that were released this week. So this is release number 5. And within these papers, it concluded the introduction that the basis of videos that he recorded of many encounters of these elite people that were named in a previous release would lose their reputations that they have, and if any of these videos were shared or were to be shared or publicly shared. With this update and final release of the documents, they also released his mugshot that he was taken when he was taken into custody. His mugshot also includes that the basis of which he was on a psych hold or a psych watch due to suicidal tendencies, of which is clearly marked on his arrest report. It was also released that he, while alive and under questioning prior to being arrested or when he was being held for questioning, he used the word fifth over 500 times and he refused to answer anything. I went over his arrest record and I have screenshots of it. And it's very interesting that they would put suicidal tendencies on there when it didn't seem like he had any suicidal tendencies. So I wonder if they did that as a failsafe. So next we're going to discuss the update of the Savannah Soto case. So Myrta Romanos, who's the stepmother of another charge in connection to the Savannah Soto case, has been accused of abuse of a corpse, destroying or concealing a human corpse, and tampering with evidence. This is following the arrest of 19-year-old Christopher Crusato, who also has been charged with capital murder, and his father, Ramon, who's 53, has also been charged with abuse of a corpse. All of these charges are in connection to the deaths of Matthew Guerra and his pregnant girlfriend, Savannah Soto. So their bodies were found in Matthew's vehicle. These two were killed or thought to be killed prior to midnight on December 21st of 2023, and they were reported missing on the 23rd due to Savannah missing her induction for her unborn son, Fabian. At first glance, this was thought to be a murder-suicide of the couple, but it was uncovered of those who were arrested had a connection with what happened. So the gun which killed both Savannah and Matthew belonged to Myrta, who was the third person arrested, as I have already mentioned. She was arrested without any issue, and this happened just this past Wednesday on the 10th. So the other two were arrested on January 3rd, and on January 4th is when Myrta was questioned. So she told them that she had no idea what happened the night of the murder and that she was asleep the entire time, but that's a flat out lie. She was placed at the scene due to being caught on surveillance footage. So it showed her with the men returning home in a truck the night of the murders. That same truck was also picked up on a different set of footage where Savannah and Matthew were found. The footage shows Ramon having a towel thrown at him by somebody in the truck, and Christopher wasn't in the truck at the time, hence why there was a third person. So the thought of it being a murder-suicide was also ruled out due to Matthew dying from an execution-style gunshot wound to the head. So this case is still ongoing at this time. As more is released, I will give you an update on that. All right, so next we're going to be discussing the arrest of Alicia Owens. So this is a woman who has been accused of killing her boyfriend's child. So Alicia Owens fed the daughter of her boyfriend a metal screw and batteries after looking online how to kill her. But the specific search was how to harm children with household products. Yes. She was arrested just Thursday, so January 11th of 2024, in connection to the murder that happened in June of 2023. So the 20-year-old, Alicia Owens, is only 20. She's been charged with criminal homicide, and this was announced by the Attorney General's Office of Pennsylvania in a press release. The toddler in question, her name is Iris Alfera. She died due to acetone found in her blood that was at an extreme level and which would cause death. So the release also revealed that this child had ingested a metal screw, water beads, and a small button-shaped battery. All of these items in which Alicia Owens searched online about in regards to harming children. So also 3 months prior to the death of Iris, she was taken to the hospital for ingesting those three sets of items. So the battery, the metal screw, and the water beads. Youth Services was called. They were in connection with the case, but no charges were filed. I don't know why. They've also been called into question in regards to this because this toddler died 3 months later. Also, apologies for small human noises. There's a small human in this room. So other searches included beauty products that are fatal or poisonous to children, or even medications that could cause accidental death in children. As a result of this, Iris was found with fixed eyes, and she was breathing, but she was unresponsive. And this was on June 25th. She was brought to the hospital in this unresponsive state. Unfortunately, she died on June 29th, following the discovery of bleeding in her brain and both of her retinas hemorrhaging. Iris lived with her father in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and Alicia also lived in this home. She is being held in Lawrence County Jail following her bail being denied. This is an ongoing case as well, so I will give any updates when I can. All right, so next up, we're going to be talking about the cold case of Justin Turner. So Justin Turner finally got justice this week. So this cold case is from 1989. So Justin Lee Turner was missing for approximately 2 days when on March 5th of 1989, his father and the local TV station and the sheriff's office were looking at the family property and in the area of Moncks Corner, South Carolina, for Justin. So Justin was only 5 at the time. The TV crew would also film Victor Lee Turner, which is his father, opening up the camper to his pickup truck. So one of the campers that like sit in the pickup truck, the bed of it. They videoed him going in. A few moments later, he comes out and he states, "My son is in there." He's recorded crying and sobbing in response. They first reported that when it was March 3rd, 1989, Justin never came home from school on the bus, but in retrospect, Justin was absent from school that day and had never gotten on the bus because in theory, he was already dead in the home and they hadn't moved his body yet. But the twist in this case is that almost 35 years later, Victor Lee Turner was arrested along with his wife, Megan Renee Turner, who was Justin's stepmother, this week. They were accused of murdering Justin via strangulation and staging his murder scene in the camper in a way to conceal the crime. This is a senseless and horrendous murder that should have never taken place. Both arrested parties are both in their 60s and did not immediately respond to any of the media outlets for a comment about the situation. So ultimately, what happened in this case is that this case was revived back in April of 2021, and the samples that were found in the wounds on Justin's neck and clothes matched fibers in the home of the Turner's house. This is what led to the new investigation and the arrests of his father and his stepmother. So this case is still ongoing at this time, and I will try and update as new information comes out. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot about Pennsylvania in this week's True Crime Recap because this last case is from Pennsylvania. Let's see, Iris Alfera died in Pennsylvania. And then we have, there's a lot about Pennsylvania in this case, and it's so, so strange. I didn't think about that until I started recording. I was like, why are we talking about Pennsylvania? And then I looked at it, it's like, oh, snap. So this last case is kind of a rough one, but it's also something that I've been following on DNA Solves because they've been trying to figure out who committed these assaults on two children. So back in April of 1997, there was a report of someone who sexually assaulted two children, and this occurred on West Newport Road in Lancaster County. That's also a county that is very prominent in this as well, which is very, this whole upload. So if you live in Lancaster County, I'm not bashing you in any way. This is just where a lot of these crimes are happening, is in this county. So this male would go on unknown for years. He would be identified last year. I'll kind of get into that. So you see, the children reported that this male approached them prior to leaving in a light blue work truck that had or work van that had a ladder attached to the back of the van. So during the initial investigation, they were able to collect DNA evidence from the crime scene. With the hopeful use of DNA technology, they tried to identify this male, but they were unable to. So they did, however, upload the STR profile built from the DNA and also the regular DNA without it being like further tested. And they uploaded it to CODIS in an effort to identify this male, but still nothing. Back in 2002, they did file charges against this unknown male, but simply charging him as a John Doe. So in an effort of trying to further this case, so the Pennsylvania State Police took the genetic evidence and gave it to Othram in an effort to identify this male, and they were able to do so. This was in 2022. So the suspect in this case was identified as 54-year-old Eric Dorwart, of whom was arrested in August of 2023 for indecent assault, 2 counts of corruption of minors, and involuntary deviant sexual intercourse. So if you or anyone you know has any information in regards to the Eric Dorwart case, please contact the Pennsylvania State Police at 717-299-7650, and this is the Lancaster headquarters. So like I mentioned, I've been following this case on DNA Solves, and I believe the reason why it took so long for them to just update this is because they needed to get all their ducks in a row. And obviously this transpired back in August when he was arrested, specifically August 16th of 2023, and this assault happened back on April 4th of 1997. So they what possibly could have happened is that they ended up picking him up on other charges other than the ones that were affiliated with this case, and then they did the DNA matching and things like that. So there's a lot of things that we don't know as to why things are released when they are and why they aren't and things like that. I do know that I did come across quite a few media sources that said that he was brought in and he was being talked to by the police in regards to that case, but it wasn't made public knowledge until they identified him. So that, my friends, is this week's true crime recap. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in another video.